Hi, my name is Brooke Donald. I'm a licensed psychologist. I work for Atlantic Health System at Morristown Medical Center. I'll be doing the presentation today, addressing girls with special needs for the Girl Scouts. Just bear with me for a second while I load the PowerPoint presentation. So today we'll be talking about addressing children with special needs. Knowing what obstacles girls are facing may help the Girl Scouts troop leader provide the best possible environment for the girls in the troop leaders' respective groups to truly be their best selves, to make the world a better place, and to fulfill the Girl Scouts' mission, vision, promise, and law. Top issues girls are facing today. Now, I'm not going to talk about every single issue. These are the top general issues our girls are facing today. From Daises to ambassadors, girls are facing many issues, all of which are magnified by the electronic technology and social media. Some of the problems girls are facing today fall into two main categories: problems at home and problems at school. Some of the problems at home may involve witnessing domestic violence, parental financial stressors. The example here I often use is I worked with a 9-year-old whose handwriting was the best in the family. So it was her job to write the checks to the mortgage company. So that could be, a stressor for a 9-year-old. Any type of physical, verbal, emotional, or sexual abuse, neglect, and parental lack of involvement or parental over-involvement. And then there's problems at school our girls are facing. This could be bullying, poor social skills, learning difficulties, feeling left out, over-involved in other activities, whether that's sports or religion or music lessons or ballet lessons. Girls could be over-involved, which creates stress, and it also could affect their time management skills. There could be behavior problems at school, which you might also see in your troop meetings, such as not listening, not following directions or the rules, talking back, irresponsibility, arguing, and not doing schoolwork or homework or the activities for the troop meetings. You might also hear about or see poor academic performance. How do you know if there's a problem beyond normal childhood, pre-adolescent, and adolescent behavior? What are the signs of social emotional challenges? The signs of social emotional challenges in children vary by age and type of challenge. Some do appear, though, in the preschool years. Two warning signs tend to cross over into all age categories and signal that there might be a sign of an emotional challenge. The first warning sign would be extremes in behavior for the age of the child, such as being significantly more hyper, aggressive, or withdrawn. So I would go with our youngest group, the Daises. Most 6, 7-year-olds do have a hard time sitting still, but do respond to verbal redirection. I'm talking more about a child who cannot sit still for the hour-long meeting you're having. The other warning sign would be sudden, hard to explain negative changes in behavior, such as not showing up for meetings or steep drop in grades or involvement in the Girl Scout group. Warning signs for our preschool age girls. These are the Daises. Like I said before, hyperactivity way beyond what other kids are doing, difficult relations with other girls, excessive fear or worrying or crying. It's not often for girls to have a little bit of a separation anxiety, but usually after 5 minutes, when the parent is gone or the caregiver is gone, the young girl is right into the activities that everyone else is doing. This is more way beyond that, half an hour, 40 minutes, uncontrollable crying. Extreme disobedience or aggression. It's normal for children to disobey or, take a toy, but usually children in this age group are responsive to verbal redirection. But if they're not, that would be a warning sign that that child might be facing some social emotional challenges. Lots of temper tantrums all the time, that would be another example. Or persistent difficulty separating from a parent, like I talked about before, that separation anxiety. Warning signs for elementary age children. These would be our brownies and our juniors. Excessive fear or worrying, extreme hyperactivity, sudden decrease in school performance or not engaging in activities during a troop meeting, loss of interest in friends or favorite activities, loss of appetite, excessive worrying about weight gain, or visible prolonged sadness. Warning signs for pre-adolescent or adolescent girls. These are the cadets, seniors, and ambassadors. So all of the warning signs that we've discussed previously, in addition to knowing that as our girls are getting older, the difficulty, the social emotional issues or behaviors are going to be more pronounced as children get older. So destructive behavior, maybe with a daisy where they're taking a toy and they throw it, that might escalate to damage of property. So it's more intense as girls get older. Constant threatening to self-harm, that would be cutting self or burning self. Withdrawal from friends in the troop, change in close friends in the troop, comments or writings that suggest a desire to harm self or others, substance use, missing troop meetings, unexplained absences from school and other activities. So for example, if one of your cadets really loves preparing and going on outdoor activities and then they miss 3, that would be a warning sign that maybe something's happening with that young lady. So one of the ways we can help our girls with all of these emotional challenges is empowering them through their strengths. So these are lists of general strengths that can be developed by the troop leader depending on the age of the girls in their troop. Is able to work or play independently, is interested in doing well, understands and sets goals, wants and is eager to learn new things, asks for help when needed, works well and gets along well in groups, works well and gets along well one-on-one, is able to organize items and thoughts, admits to disappointment, mistakes, and is able to move on. So this would be an example where we're looking at how to help build strengths. It's oftentimes girls might be disappointed if something didn't happen that they thought was going to happen in a troop meeting, and that's pretty developmentally normal. And so then, praising that child, saying, you did a really good job handling that. That would be a way to empower girls through their strengths. Has passions and hobbies, can plan ahead, makes good choices, is curious and creative, and problem solves well. So the example I use with this is something that can be done with as young as 3 years old. I was waiting for an elevator and I had my 3-year-old with me and he likes to press the button. So I said, well, he couldn't press the button. So he said, Mom, the garbage can's in the way. I said, okay, problem solve it. And he looked at me and he said, can you help me move the garbage can? I said, excellent job problem solving. So that can be from our daisies all the way up. Helping them problem solve really builds on their strengths. It really helps empower the girls. Social strengths. Sharing, taking turns and negotiating, seeks out social interactions, asks for help and comfort when needed, is comforting and offers help when needed, accepts personal responsibility for actions. Again, this would be age appropriate. Our younger girls might not initiate I'm sorry on their own, but with a prompt from the troop leader can say I'm sorry. That would be a great strength. has a good sense of humor, resists peer pressure, follows rules and routines well, accepts redirection, is able to make friends and keep them, is truthful and honest, has positive relationships with peers and adults, shows empathy and sensitivity to others, likes to help others, and reacts appropriately when frustrated. Again, this would be age appropriate. So with our younger girls, it's not hitting. And with our older girls, it's really praising them when they keep whatever interaction was difficult in the troop, and it's not spilling over into social media or into school or into other activities. So now we're on to language strengths. And this would be, when girls are able to express their needs and wants and ideas verbally, uses inflection and expression when speaking, understands jokes, puns, and riddles depending on the age, can talk about events in the correct and logical order. So Daises might not understand what a week means, and my example of this is my niece, when she was 7 years old, it was Saturday, and I was supposed to see her the following Saturday. She didn't understand why I wasn't in California because it was Saturday. So again, understanding the give and take of conversation, uses grammar appropriate for her age, has and uses a growing vocabulary, is interested in listening to stories, music, and other activities, participates in discussion with adults and peers, answers who, what, when, where questions in a conversation or about a story. And then literacy strengths, depending on the age, enjoys reading, can match letters to sounds and sounds to letters, is able to sound out unfamiliar words, and that would be for any age group, recognizes sight words, can follow written directions, recalls and retells stories and facts after reading, can make predictions based on what's happened so far in the story, can pause when reading and return to that sentence after being interrupted, reads accurately and with expression, figures out what new words mean by looking at the context or asking questions, has creative and imaginative ideas and likes to tell stories, makes connection between reading material and personal experiences. And then we have science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics. And this is seeing and understanding patterns in natures and in numbers, remembering math facts and can perform mental math, thinks logically, understands math concepts and can apply them to the real world, and uses and understands math vocabulary. So the importance of mentoring and providing structure. There are things that a troop leader can do as a preventative strategy to help reduce problems in the troop meeting and activities. At the same time, creating a healthy environment for each girl to become successful, confident, and happy. Troop leaders, like teachers and parents, have to teach and reinforce new and effective skills, such as social skills, personal leadership skills, communication skills, as well as acceptable behavior through their activities during troop meetings, planned activities, as well as through modeling desired behaviors. So managing girl behavior and troop conflict. This is taken directly from the Girl Scouts webpage and information. It is not uncommon for girls or troops to have disagreements or behavior issues from time to time. The best way to address these topics is to be proactive right from the start. When you take a little bit of time at the beginning of the year to set the tone and expectations for all leaders, girls, and families in your troop, your year will run that much more smoothly. And when an issue does arise, everyone will be on the same page with how to correct the situation. So how to manage girl behavior and troop conflict. Create a troop agreement. A troop agreement is when the leaders and girls work together to come up with an agreed upon set of rules for troop meetings and outings. Use the Girl Scout promise and law to help start the conversation. You should do a new troop agreement at the beginning of each year. At your first or second troop meeting, review the promise and law and ask the girls what words or phrases they like in the promise and law. How does it feel to be friendly, helpful, considerate? How does it feel when someone is friendly to you, when someone helps you, when someone is considerate towards you? Ask the girls to give examples on how they should behave in troop meetings. Share with the girls the rule, treat others as they would like to be treated. Ask the girls what they think that means. How should you treat others at a troop meeting? Brainstorm ideas for your troop agreement. Topics could be related to your meeting space, material, how to treat others, arriving, leaving, etc. Each girl should have a chance to share. So involving the girls in creating the troop agreement really helps them take ownership in making sure the troop agreement is followed out. As a troop, choose at least 5 items from your final troop agreement, such as live by the Girl Scout law, work together, be a friend, not a bully, support one another, treat adults and guests with respect, leave the space cleaner than you found it, be a good listener, and don't interrupt. Always remember to reach out to your troop support manager for further guidance. And just know you're not alone in this process. So I'd like to talk a little bit about technology. There are positive aspects of technology. For example, the internet puts information such as scholarly articles, research, and entertainment right at our fingertips. The internet connects us with people who share interests regardless of geographical locations. And it can help you find a relative, and technology is great for fundraising. So with positive aspects of technology, we also have negative aspects of technology. What research shows is that excessive use of the internet, more than 2 hours of any screen time, promotes inactivity. And the more inactive you are, the more chances, now this is generally speaking, the more chances that it could increase incidence of depression and anxiety. What we also know, a negative aspect of the internet and technology, is that not everything on the internet is real, valid, or trustworthy. The internet builds in ways for people to behave that they wouldn't behave face-to-face. For example, cyberbullying. People say mean things to each other through technology that they would never say to the person's face. Predators target children and adolescents where they would not have access to those children or adolescents if it wasn't for the internet. There are privacy risks, such as identity theft and malware. We do know, research has shown us this through multiple studies, that the excessive use of technology, no more than 2 hours of screen time, affects children and adolescents as well as adults' ability to fall and remain asleep. What we do also know is that excess use of screen time, technology, internet, phone, tablets, video games does create distractibility, and the effects of distractibility do carry over to school and homework. Some research shows adolescents are less effective in face-to-face communication and miss nonverbal cues and body language messages because they're focused on their phones. Now, this is a study that's come out of Yale. They've been studying communication issues with adolescents and pre-adolescents for over 20 years now. Another negative aspect of technology is there are sites that adults we just aren't aware of because we're not in the know. For example, ask.fm is a site that allows adolescents to post things without accountability. So it's anonymous. There's no way to trace it back to you, unlike a tweet or a Facebook post, which can directly be traced back to you. So what research does show us regarding technology and how it affects girls is that girls are on their phones, engaging in social media more than boys their age. What we do know is that girls don't want to be engaging in technology as much as they are. However, they also don't want to not be in the know. They don't want to be left out. Social media magnifies any existing problems with how girls are treated with regards to dating, breakup, and bullying because of who they were dating and what activities they engaged in. So social media, whether it's Snapchat or Instagram or Facebook, tends to promote the dehumanization of personal situations. So for example, if a girl breaks up with her boyfriend or someone snaps a picture of her, it's more likely the picture of the young lady will be exposed and shared versus their male counterparts. So again, we know that this affects girls much more than it does boys their own age. Next, I'd like to talk about how to talk to parents about your concerns for the girls in your troop. Most importantly, remember you're not alone and there are people to help you problem solve in the Girl Scout community. I think it's important when you meet parents for the first time to have realistic expectations regarding the girl, child, or adolescent's behaviors, the amount and type of parent involvement you want to have with your troop, and you want to let the parents know you'll be sharing positive aspects of their daughters as well as any concerns that may arise. So if a concern arises, I think it's important to talk to the parents about positives first and then bring up the concern. So for example, your daughter is participating really well. She interacts with her peers amazingly. And I just wanted to talk to you a little bit about, I'm concerned because when you leave, she is upset for about 20 to 25 minutes. And I was just wondering what strategies you use for if this behavior happens at home or at school, that we could replicate that if you're experiencing that type of behavior in other environments. So again, we're bringing up positive and then we're addressing the concern. We're also asking the parents' involvement because maybe that behavior might be in other environments, and this way we're eliciting their help for what works for their daughter in those environments. We always want to talk to the parent in private, and I always think this is important. How do I want to be told about my child's behavior? That's how I would present it to the parent of the child I'm concerned about. And then if the parent has discussed any concerns with their pediatrician, I always refer parents back to their pediatrician, mainly for two reasons. One, the pediatrician most likely has known that girl and those parents or those caregivers their whole life from birth. And the pediatrician has the resources and the relationships to direct that family for any issues with behavioral, emotional, or developmental concerns. I just wanted to say thank you so much for allowing me to share this information with you. It's really been a pleasure and an honor. And thank you so much for all the work that you do with the Girl Scouts.